So, I'm up here high in the West Hills of Portland with Harry Landers, who is the curator of the International Rose Test Gardens here. And last year, Harry, we came out here with Dan Himes because they were donating a lot of plants to the gardens. And right here by the tennis courts, they had put in freshly a whole bunch of beds. And it is amazing how in just 1 year, the transformation from those small plants to what they are now.
It really is amazing.
Now, they're not the only people that have helped you put plants in here, though.
Heirloom Roses donated the roses. Bailey's Nurseries donated a lot of the shrubbery. Blooming Nursery gave us a bunch of grasses. So a lot of people have helped. I even brought things from home.
Yeah, anything you can do to help out now. When I walk through this area of the gardens, I see some beautiful, almost collection swaths of different plants, like plants, but they're all different compared to each other. How did you get that flow to happen?
Well, I knew what I had because they were all at the greenhouse and growing into 4-inch pots. So I took pictures out of their catalog and then used marking paint.
And just spray it on the ground?
Sprayed it on the ground with a drift, and then I marked in the drift what I wanted. And then volunteers came and they did the planting, and they knew that this was going to get about this big, so they planted accordingly.
And they just filled in the lines, coloring in the lines.
Yes, they colored in the lines.
Which wouldn't work for me because I always tended to go outside of the lines, so good thing I wasn't helping out there. Now, there's also a garden that's right between two tennis courts. It's much smaller, but it's really chocked full of plants.
Yeah, and that used to be just a row of roses and some grass, and people don't always have big areas.
Yeah.
And there's no rhyme or reason to that. They're just filled. We move things around as we have to. And
so it's much more informal than this garden that we're standing in.
Yeah, there's one here and one there, and sometimes there's a half a dozen.
Yeah.
And each garden path is different.
Now, tell me about, you said, I heard you mention volunteers. A lot of the work that is done in these exquisite gardens is done by volunteers, which is nice because so many of us want to see how plants grow, so the public can come up here from all over the world, really, and see it. But volunteers really are the backbone to make these gardens work.
I couldn't do it without them.
So if they want to help out, how do they go about that?
They call the garden office at 503-823-3636.
Well, it's one of my favorite places in Portland is up here in the West Hills at the International Rose Test Garden. Beautiful displays of not only roses, so don't just think if you come up here just in the early summer to see roses, you're going to miss out because all season long, beautiful display gardens to look at. What a delight to be out here with you, Harry. Thank you so much.
I'm so glad you came.